By now, everybody knows that the Minister of Homeland Security made a statement where he said he wanted to put laws in place to stop the public from recording police officers. Then right after that, the High Court came out and they said, you can't do that. We have constitutional rights in place and laws in place that protects the citizens' rights. Now another head of Homeland Security, I think he's the head of communications and relations, who's also a lawyer, a man by the name of Zahir Ali, decided to come out and make the statement that pulling out your phone can be seen as a threat and you can and will be arrested for it. Now, he made that statement as a lawyer after the High Court made the ruling and made the statement that it is a constitutionally protected right. But here's the part that nobody will talk about, right? When the police decide willingly to break the law, they don't pay for it. You do, I do. There are quiet court payouts using taxpayer money, of course, and it keeps happening because there's no real accountability. I mean, if it's not your money that had to pay, what sense it make you have accountability, right? So the real question here is, right, if they come out multiple times and publicly state that they are willingly going against the High Court ruling, how much is that going to cost John Public? And in this video, I'm going to give you some insight of how much in the past year police mistakes has cost the public. But first, let me do a little recap of the events that lead us to this point. And it started with a very direct message from the Minister of Homeland Security, where he said that he wanted to put laws in place to stop the public from recording officers carrying out the duties. Now, in his initial statement, he said nothing about interfering with police operations or harassing the police as they're carrying out their duty. He just said recording. And immediately members of the government come out to back him up. We ain't gonna call no name, but you could see it in the news. It became certain that this wasn't a slip of the tongue. This was a policy direction. This was a position that they was trying to head in, or they are trying to head in. And that didn't sit right with a lot of people, because in Trinidad, we always have laws protecting the people's right to record police officers while they're carrying out the duty. Most cases of abuse, corruption, excessive force within the police service was only brought to light by somebody recording the police doing it. So when the head of national security and the head of homeland security say these kinds of things, people don't see it as you bringing order. They're seeing it as you trying to control the narrative and allowing the police officers to run and do whatever they want. Now, when Justice Frank Sipasad stepped in and said that recording the police is a constitutional right of the citizen and the police officers can create laws or make amendments to laws to fit their narrative, that should have been the end of the discussion right away. Nobody was supposed to make any more statements or say anything other than that. Right? That is the ruling of the High Court. But instead, the Minister of Homeland Security had to come and clarify what he actually meant. Trying to backtrack, because that's the only way that it seemed, because what he stated was not what he originally said. He stated that what he meant was the proximity in which the public records the police officers. That was nowhere in his first statement. Now, as we're talking about proximity, what you're talking about, laws already in place for that. That is called obstructing. There is a known distance that the public need to stay away from police officers carrying out their duty. And if the public break that rule or that law, you could arrest them. That is not what you're saying. You can't make new laws for existing laws. So that whole press conference statement that you give didn't seem like clarification to the public. It more seemed like a backtrack that you was trying to make. Now the other one, and this coming after the High Court made their statement on the issue and made it clear, Zahir Ali, who is public relations officer for the Ministry of Homeland Security and a lawyer. Let us sit with you a little bit, let us mellow in your brain a little bit, a lawyer. He come out now and saying that if the public pull out a phone, it could be seen as a threat and you could get arrested and you will get arrested for it. What in the ever-loving God are you talking about, dog? So now we had three positions on the same issue. The Minister of Homeland Security wants recording to stop. The High Court come out and say that it's a constitutional right and you can't trample over people's constitutional right. And now after that, Mr. Zahir Ali come out and say, we're going to lock you up if you pull out your phone. And let me tell you something, when national security publicly and openly contradicts the High Court, the law, that's a recipe for disaster. And now the question on everybody's mind is, am I protected by the Constitution? Or will I get arrested for expressing my constitutional rights? And why this matter right now is because this is no longer about phone again. It's no longer about recording devices again. This is about control. Controlling the narrative of how each And every single police altercation takes place. When there's no accountability, you could do what you want. Because as we spoke about earlier, every case of police misconduct was only brought to light because of somebody recording the incident. If those videos didn't exist, there was no accountability because nobody ever believed in a citizen word over a police officer. Because the police is a family. Vin Diesel is a unit, right? Everybody for everybody. And now the recording is seen as a threat. Not the abuse of power, not the misconduct, or not the power imbalance. Recording is now the dangerous threat. And when you frame recording or accountability as a threat, what comes next is trying to silence the public completely. And if you feel that is where you're going to solve the problem, silence is where abuse grows. And where abuse grows, resentment follows. Now here's the part that you're waiting for, right? And I hope you stick to see this part. Over the past year, you know how much wrongful arrests there was by police officers? Too much to count. But let me not talk about the wrongful arrests. Let me talk about the instances where they went so far that they actually had to pay the public back. Not the police officers, obviously, but the government, right? So let me talk about some of these instances. One instance, a man who owned an inspection bay and garage was wrongfully shut down. These police officers come and wrongfully shut down the man, and not only did they do that, they barred him from reapplying and regaining his license to inspect motor vehicles. For I think up to 3 years. You know what was the outcome of that? They had to pay that man $350,000 plus lawyer fees. That is not inclusive of lawyer fees. There are other cases, and it has so much to list that I can't list them all, where people getting paid off $150,000, $111,000, $100,000, and all these monies that I quote are not inclusive of lawyer fees. The government had to foot the bill for the people lawyer fees too. And we're talking in the tens of thousands of dollars. And in one case, and I'm not going to call this person's name, but in one case, and this one, why when I read this, I get real upset. Not only upset for the fact that how much money our taxpayer dollars had to go to reimburse this person, but for what they do this person, because this is what we're talking about when police don't have accountability. They wrongfully arrest a man multiple times for the same offense, and he was cleared every single time. And I ain't talking about I come and lock you up today, we Lego you, I make a mistake and I come and lock you up back tomorrow. I'm talking about over the span of 4 to 5 years, they keep on going by this man's house and locking him up, accusing the man of burglary. He was cleared of every single charge. And you know how much John Public had to pay that man? $1.2 million, not inclusive of lawyer fees. Now, the money that had to be paid is an issue by itself. But just imagine the mental turmoil and the mental stress that man had to go through, being arrested multiple times for something that you didn't do. And you and I both know it's probably because them police officers just don't like him. That is the reality of Trinidad, and without accountability, without recording, without evidence on the citizen side, the police could do whatever they want and get away with it. Is that the road we're heading down right now? That is the question. Because when somebody who holds a high position and is also a lawyer representing Homeland Security, Mr. Zahir Ali, could come out and make the statement publicly that they are going against what the High Court ruled, that is cause for concern. That is cause for you not to only worry about your safety as a person, as a citizen, but to worry about how much it's going to cost the public in taxpayer dollars. Because you're publicly coming out and stating that you and the police service are willingly going against the ruling of the High Court. So any case like that you carry to court, you're going to get dismissed. It's going to be wrongful. You're going to have to compensate the people. I'm smarter than all you. And you're a lawyer. I'll leave you with this, right? Ask you one question to leave you with. And you let me know in the comment section below. If recording the police is a constitutional right, why is Homeland Security and the police service so adamant about taking that right away from the public? Because if pulling out your phone is now a threat, what the hell happened to accountability? You let me know in the comment section below. And if you want more breakdowns like this, remember, make sure you like and subscribe to them for latest reviews. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you get notified for every video that I post up. And I'll see everybody in the next one. Later.